Welcome to the St. Matthew's Episcopal Church podcast, coming to you from Northern Virginia. We're so glad you're here. Today, we hope our message inspires you to better know and share God's love. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and join our weekly newsletter, The Friday Flash, to stay updated on all of our events and services. Let's dive in.
As you just heard, our reading today is the 23rd Psalm, which we just read a few weeks ago, and I just preached on a few weeks ago. So I thought it'd probably be a good Sunday to ask Josh to preach. But kids these days, they just really struggle with commitment, and so he said, that he's got, finals or something going on right now at seminary. And so he couldn't do it because he's taking his finals. Come on now. So, and in all seriousness, I think it's sometimes hard to remember that right now Josh is still part-time. He doesn't go full-time until the end of this month, right? A little bit later. He's clear about when he starts. He seems like a full part of the team, and he is, but he doesn't actually start full-time then, and so he's doing a lot of work here, but he's also still finishing up his schoolwork, also taking finals right now, and then graduates next week on, May 7th, whenever the heck that is. So send Josh a card, congratulate him, say prayers for him while he takes his finals, make him some cookies. I heard you like cookies, whatever it is, but support him during this time as he leaves me floundering to preach on the 23rd Psalm once again. We'll see what we can do. We're in a series, Beyond Belief, and what we're saying is that at any given moment, our brain receives, in any second, it receives more information. If it was translated into a book, our brain can process this whole book. Well, can't process it, but it's receiving, that much information at any moment. But we can actually pay attention to only like one line of that. That's all we can really attend to, is like one sentence or one kid rolling on the floor. That's all that we can really pay attention to, which is a beautiful thing. And so it raises questions about the importance of what we believe. So, for instance, and just a couple things I just read in a book called The Hunger Code, which is a fascinating book by a medical doctor that, I'm not sure what to believe what he writes, but it's so interesting. But he says, for instance, that they've done a study where they make people omelets, they make an omelet with 2 eggs, but they tell people that it had 4 eggs in it, and the people who were told that it had 4 eggs in it, even though they had 2 eggs, feel much fuller and don't get hungry for a lot longer, right? So it's only a difference of belief. It's not a difference there's another one, and I don't even fully understand how they do this. The ethics of this one. I need to read more about it, but it's another study where it's called like a no surgery. And what they do is they just make an incision in a person's side, and then they don't do anything, and they just sew them up. And those people do just as well and sometimes better for bariatric surgery as people who actually have the surgery. So again, all it is a matter of, what's going on up here matters an absolute ton. In fact, it really matters more than anything. So here's a question about what you believe. Do you believe, and don't answer this too quickly because, just don't answer it too quickly. Do you believe you can really be content in this world? And that's probably because you've got enough life and wisdom to have come to that point. But and I might suggest that I think the answer to that's no. Just because we live in a wanting world, and we're so shaped by the wants of this world that it's hard not to be influenced by that. And yes, I think we can come to the point where we're by and large content and life is good, but that doesn't save us from moments where we still feel like we're missing out, where we still feel like people are getting ahead, where we still feel like we just don't have enough. And that can sort of it can plunge me, anyhow, into a downward spiral. And so today, what we want to talk about is being content. And really, being contentment, that is the keystone virtue. That's the virtue you're really looking for. Because happiness is fleeting. It's an up and down emotion. It comes and goes. But contentment, man, that's for the long haul. So you find contentment in life, man, you find the bedrock on which you can build. And it just so happens that the 23rd Psalm, last time we talked about the 23rd Psalm, we looked at the whole thing. Today we're going to go into a little bit more depth. I mean, you can only go into so much depth in the next 45 minutes, but we'll see what we can, in the next 15 minutes, we'll just see what we can do. But today we're going to look at is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That's it. And we're really going to focus on the I shall not want part. But to get to the I shall not want, we've got to start with, excuse me, it's not a cold, it's just allergies that remain and tickle my respiratory system, so I apologize for that. So anyhow, excuse me. All right. It starts with, the Lord is my shepherd, because it's in that declaration, the Lord is my shepherd, that we find the identity that frees us from want. And without that identity, man, we're going to be a wanting creature. I mean, we're going to live and move or have our being in wanting and wanting more. So, the Lord is my shepherd. It's not pretty poetry. It's not David opining in some symbolic way, but really it is a bold declaration of who David understands himself to be and who David invites ourselves to understand ourselves to be. The Lord is my shepherd. And in that is it's freedom from what's called a performance-based identity, PBI. Performance-based identity. I know lots being written on performance-based identities. You might think that a performance-based identity is the way to high performance, but it really isn't, because a performance-based identity is, what it's really done is it's saying, I'm only as good as my last achievement. I'm only as good as my last success. I'm only as good as my ability to do, right? I'm always striving to do the next thing, to one-up myself, to somehow merit attention or favor or love or whatever it may be. And so a performance-based identity is always externally oriented towards factors that are by and large out of our control. And the alternative to that is an identity built on first principles. It's built on what's going on in here. And that I can control. And so that I can direct. And on that I can build a foundation. And so what we're talking about, once again, is we're talking about building skills over a lifetime. And particularly for our young people, that's why this is so important. This isn't just, this isn't just a religious system. This is a way of life. These are principles. And if you take these principles, and the earlier you start, if you build a life on this, it will serve you so well. And so this identity, the Lord is my shepherd, it's an identity that's based on a relationship, not on my performance. And it frees me from that need from having to perform. And because sheep, they don't choose the shepherd, do they? The shepherd claims the sheep. So before we've ever done anything, God loves us. We rest secure in that. When we say, the Lord is my shepherd, we're saying, I'm not lost, I'm not forgotten, I'm not my trauma. I might have trauma, I might need to deal with trauma, but I am not my trauma, I am not defined by my trauma, right? If that's the only thing you took from that would be worth it right there, because if we get locked into our trauma, man, that narrows down our trajectory in our life, and it's going to keep us from ever really thriving. So, I'm not my job, I'm not my network, I am the one who is deeply loved by my shepherd. So, when we start there, then we come from a place of sufficiency. And that place of sufficiency, I got a taste of it, and Josh did too, at the 8 o'clock service this morning. Sorry, I really have a tickle. I got a great little note from a young woman who just turned 10 at the 8 o'clock service. I love getting notes. And this one, she's written out the Lord's Prayer, which is great, and then she puts a PS on it, and the PS says, "You are so nice. I like you very much." I mean, isn't that nice? I mean, really, after this, everything else is just gravy, isn't it? I mean, really and truly, after this, everything else is really just kind of gravy. And that's the whole thing, is what God is saying is, you're very nice. I like you very much. And that's before you've done anything. So we can just rest in that and enjoy that. Everything else is just gravy. And so if we and so that's the point where we come and say, I dwell secure. God likes me very much. It's good. What more do I need? Really? And that brings us to this idea of the Lord is my shepherd, therefore I shall not want. And when this word, which one of the things that Josh is taking, and I'm a little worried about how well he did on it, he's taking Hebrew, and one of your exams is your Hebrew exam, right? But he doesn't seem to know this word that's translated want in the 23rd. I was a bit surprised. So say some more prayers for him because he might need a little bit more. But the word for want is kasar in Hebrew. It sounds just like the cold, the tickle that I have. Kasar, excuse me. But it means to fundamentally lack. It's not the idea of want as a desire. Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thoughtful and considerate, beloved daughter that you are. Oh, that's nice. Thank you. See, everything else is just gravy. I mean, really. I mean, when you come right down to it, everything else is just gravy. So it's not that I don't want, because we all want. Want is motivation. If I didn't want anything, I'd never get out of bed in the morning, wouldn't I? So what we do is we want wisely. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good priest. I want to be a good friend. We want wisely. That's a whole other sermon. We're not going there. It's only to say that it's not talking about not wanting in that sense. The original word meant lack, right? It actually means to be deficient. The Lord is my shepherd, therefore I have no sense of deficiency. I am loved, I am treasured, I am valued. God thinks I'm nice and likes me very much. What more do I really need? That's the original sense of that word. And so coming out of that, then I'm freed from this sense that I need to pursue all these things that people typically feel like they need to pursue, and I'm free just to be content and enjoy what I have. Because what most people do, and if you think about this, you'll just see how true this is. People think about what we have, and we think we just need a little bit more of something or a lot of things. And we imagine that if we just had a little bit more of something, we'd be happy, right? We're in this state here. We perceive some sort of lack, some sort of deficiency, and therefore we think we need a little bit more of something to make up for that lack or deficiency. But what we're imagining in this blessed state, let's call it, is actually what we're imagining is being content with what we have. We're not really imagining the goodness of having more, so it's not the more that's making us happy. What we're imagining is the goodness of being content, of not wanting more. But if we haven't learned how not to want more now, when we get more, will we be content? Obviously not. If we just get a little bit more, will that solve all our present doubts, confusions, puzzlements, anxieties? No. What we're imagining is a state that has nothing to do with more. We're imagining ourselves one day being content. But if we don't know how to be content more now, then no matter how much more we pile upon it, we're never going to get to the state that we're content. We either learn to be content right here, right now, with what we have, or we never, ever, ever learn to be content. And every study ever done bears that out. And so, I mean, that's at the heart of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God likes you God thinks you're nice and likes you very much. And we can rest secure in that. I mean, we can rest secure in that. And so what I want to do, just for the remaining time, is I want to tease out 4 practical applications of this that I think that I personally find thought-provoking and freeing, and I want to commend them to you. And I think I might have failed to give attribution at 8. These come from Morgan Housel's laws on how to be miserable with money. All right? And you can find that online. It's also in his book, How to Spend Money, which is a great book. I've commended it to you before. It's really worth reading. But he has these laws at the end, how to be miserable spending money. And the hard part was, I don't know, there's like 11 of them. And I tried to get it down to 4. And I tried to get the 4 that were, I thought, the most thought-provoking. Okay, here's the first one. All right, and again, this is how to be miserable with money. This is how to be miserable in life. This is how to fail to be content. This is the opposite of what David's talking about. Okay? All on that page. Did I make that clear? Okay, good. Compare your inside with everybody else's outside, envying others' success without having a picture of their lives. So when you look at everybody else's outside, right, all the good things they have, then make the jump to since they have all those good things, they must be happy, and that their insides aren't like your insides, right? When if we thought about it just for a moment, we could see how foolish that is. Everybody's insides are pretty much the same. And it just depends on how much work people have done with what they've got, right? Depends on how much time we've worked on developing those internal skills that align our lives with our first principles so that we really live them out instead of responding to what we see other people have that we think we need so that our inside will be like what we think their inside is. But their inside is a mess, right? So compare your inside with everybody else's outside. I think that's so profound. Assume that other people's cars, homes, clothes, jewelry, and social media accounts are an accurate reflection of how happy they are. Tell yourself that because they have nice toys, they must also have good relationships, good health, moral clarity, emotional intelligence, and overall life satisfaction. Sometimes that's true. Most of the time, it's not. But everybody does. I do it. I mean, right? All right. I love this one. This may be my favorite one. Be persuaded by the advice and lifestyle of those who need or want something you don't. And you have to think about these for a little bit. That's part of why I like them. Be persuaded by the advice and lifestyle of those who need or want something you don't. So, frankly, I couldn't care less about making $1 million, right? So why? I don't really care that much about material. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and if you do, that's good. I just don't care that much about material success. I would really far rather succeed in other areas of my life. So why in the world would I pay any attention to anybody telling me how to live a life that is all about material success? That's irrelevant to me, right? So, what I really want to know is I want to know how to be a good husband, right? If somebody will tell me how to be a good husband, I want to listen to that person. But anybody who tells, someone who tells me how to be a good Christian, how to literally walk in alignment with God and God's purposes, I want to pay attention to that person. But the people who are selling all the other stuff that people are selling, why would I pay attention to that? I don't care how many followers I have on social media. Why would I pay attention to a social media? And this is what he says. Want what society says you should want. Desire what the marketers say you should desire. Look to other people, including complete strangers, for answers on what's best for you. Have no appreciation of the vast spectrum of people's needs, wants, or desires, the unique person that God's created you to be. This is another one that's so good, and you've got to think about this one too. Risk what you need, by implication you already have, in order to get what you don't need. Think about it. You hear the lights going on that? It's saying that what I have, where I am, it is so good. Again, not that it's perfect, but if we look at our life at any given moment, there's just so much to be grateful for. But to think that we need something we don't have now so that we blow up the life that we do have, how dumb is that? And I don't generally talk about things as dumb because that's sort of disparaging, but how dumb is that? Right? But how dumb is that? Risk relationships with your family and friends for the potential of a raise that will have no impact on your life. You all know this, at a certain level of income, making above that has no difference on your happiness. So you want this thing that you think is going to make a difference. What it does, it ends up making you time poor, and that makes you absolutely miserable. Right? So risk what you have, the goodness of having some free time to be all present, to try to get a little bit more that blows up everything. Or risk how well you sleep at night. This is a great one. Or risk how well you sleep at night for a new car that no one will pay attention to. And by the way, there's some interesting data that's just come out now about how consumers have not recovered from the prices of cars after the pandemic, which sent cars through the roof. And so debt ratios on cars has also gone through the roof. And cars are a depreciating asset. No reason to go into debt on a car. I mean, anyhow, risk what you have, being able to sleep at night, right, for what you think you need that blows up what you already have. That's profound. That's profound. Risk the goodness of having a shepherd and dwelling knowing that God likes you very much, thinks you're nice and likes you very much, to pursue some other sense of worth or esteem that's going to end up making you feel ashamed and inadequate. I mean, it just doesn't make that much sense. And then anchor your lifestyle expectations to the most successful people you know. Create a mindset where even exceptional successes in your own life feel inadequate. It's basically a contract with yourself to be unhappy. Looking at the successes in other people's life and saying, I want that, I need that. I mean, for the most part, I'm very happy. I like my life. It's not that it's a perfect life. I have struggles, I have problems. But there are moments, like last week I was talking with Josh, and I loved the conversation. It was a great conversation. But he was talking about, they do landscaping. He was talking about doing landscaping for people who have built houses or built buildings that are bigger than our houses for their cars, right? And, you know, some of these cars are exotic cars worth hundreds of thousands apiece. Some of them are classic cars. And because I like cars, I like hearing about all this. But I feel like I have plenty. But by the end of that conversation, I was starting to feel poor. And it's not Josh's fault. I like the conversation. I appreciated hearing about it. But truly, it's like, oh man, maybe I'm not doing so well after all. I mean, I don't need a building big enough for all my cars. I mean, I'd just settle for a Porsche 911 Turbo, just one. I mean, just one. And if I can't have that, how about a Corvette? I mean, and if I can't have a Corvette, how about just a Corolla GR? I mean, I'll just, you know. But the point being is that I'm completely happy until I start thinking about other people who have more, and then I start to think, shoot, either they're getting ahead and I don't like anybody getting ahead of me, right? Or maybe I don't have as much as I thought I did, and then maybe I'm not as happy, and then it starts to steal. Do you know, where's someone who's, well, our young people, do you know how big the TVs were when I was growing up? Somebody guess the size of a TV screen when we were growing up. Yeah, that's about right. They were about 21 inches, right? Pardon me? Yeah, the TV itself was huge. The screen was, it was about 21 inches. And we were completely satisfied. You looked at that 21, and in fact, we felt lucky. It's like, holy cow, we got a TV. Look at this. This is awesome. We got to sit like right next to it to see everything's on it. But this is awesome. And it's black and white. I mean, right. But because we'd never seen anything else. And even in our house now, I mean, I don't know how big they are. Our biggest screen is about this big by this big. And we only have one. It's downstairs, and we hardly ever look at it. And I never miss it. I feel good until I go in houses and see great big TVs with great big, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, shoot, I'm poor, right? I got to do something different. So that's what this all comes down to in the end. Is this sense of identity in our Savior, whereby we have this profound sense of ourself that lets us see what's good in life, and so much of what's good in life are the intangibles, right? I mean, is there, an honest to goodness question, is there absolutely anything better than getting to have my daughter here on a Sunday morning, which was an unexpected visit? There's absolutely nothing better than that. You know, and if you don't have a daughter, well then, was there anything better than that first date when I went out with my wife and all the dates? No. And if you don't have a wife, was there anything better than the time I got to spend with Big Al growing up? No, he's a good friend. I mean, you just look at these things. These are the things that matter, right? And so much of what makes us feel so poor and makes us discontent and leads to, frankly, bad decisions it would be eminently avoidable if we could just stick with the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd. I'm not inadequate. Amen.
Thank you for listening. If you're in the Northern Virginia area, we invite you to join us for worship or any of our events. For directions, service times, and information about our online services, visit stmtts.org. That's stmtts.org. Until next time, go in peace and share God's love.